I didn't really necessarily want to do a part 2 to this video, especially as the video itself was entitled The Last Video That You'll Ever Need. So here is the second last video that you'll ever need. I got a lot of feedback. Okay, wow. I got emails, countless emails. I got comments, I got critique, I got hate. I got so much love and light. I love you all so much. Even the ones that hate me. I really had to sit with this all for a couple of days. I felt called after I sat with it to do more for you all, and that's where this video is coming from. This video is going to be answering a lot of questions I got about hope altars, about the details and specifics of it. This is also going to be my time to address hate or calls for me to explain myself personally as a reader, which I won't, just as a forewarning, but I will highlight what some of you are doing by asking that of me. If you haven't watched the first video, I will be putting a link in the description. I will tag it in this one for you to watch first. This video won't make much sense until you watch that one, so go ahead and watch that one before you dive into this one. A lot of people got mad at how long it took me to quote unquote get to the point in the first video, as if the introduction and lead up were not important to them and I was being thoughtless about what I'm saying. I want to say that that message was probably not for you if you felt frustrated at my speed or thought the beginning was not relevant to the message. It had an important purpose to the message as a whole. I'm channeling here for a very small group of conscious people that are ready to wake up or on the precipice of it, not for those living in a false knowing of how to do things quote unquote correctly and feel the need to explain that to me. If you feel urgency, impatience, or a lack of an ability to sit through an introduction that walks with you for a couple of minutes, I don't think my message was for you. I don't think that I'm also the reader that's meant for you at this time. This is a big reason why I spend time on introducing topics slowly or unfolding things. It is in of itself a filtering process for the audience that I'm here for. I don't want to mass produce. I don't want to reach wide and far. I want a very specific selective audience, and that's how I am guided to filter messages and disclaim and provide disclosures. So I remove all comments that tell me to hurry up, give me advice on how to be better, or put durations of when I quote get to the point for them. If you believe you can say a message better than me or more concise, you are within your freedom to create your own content as you wish. I also got a lot of questions and some defensiveness for how these messages are manifestation. I can see how consuming this type of spirituality content can be a fractured form of manifestation, and I'll explain it. First, a lot of you are under the impression that sitting with these hope altars helps you attract them long term, whether that be to come back to you or to create a reality through mental focus of a new future. For example, you may think if you watch a lot of content about getting rich or having abundance in your future and feel that money, feel that detail that's being given to you of what's being described to you, then you will attract it. You will attract that wealth and that abundance. Same for if you watch a lot of content that tells you your ex is coming back or a new person is coming into your life and gives you the details and allows you to feel into that. It will come to you after you do that enough and you feel that certainty of it. In essence, you think you're creating this world yourself, and I can totally see how you can think that. So let's clarify some complexities and nuances here. First, manifestation is something that happens when you are not coming from a place of lack. Now, what I mean by that is the law of attraction works where you truly believe you have these things and you take unconscious and conscious action in a way that shows that as well, not just what you think and feel. You feel it's yours and the universe responds to that true energy. You cannot fake this. It is purely energetic and it happens in a multitude of ways. So I think where some of you might be getting confused is you think by watching this content, it confirms the abundance and not the lack. It's kind of like you think you believe it in your heart, and then you're not faking the universe out by truly, truly believing and feeling what you're being told in this content and in this guidance. It's affirming what you already feel, in other words. The unfortunate truth to this feeling part is it's not the entire truth. There's multiple parts of this. So you have the feeling part, and then you also have the unconscious part of the process where you're waiting for the messages and you're scanning for them and you're constantly consuming them over and over again. You're showing the universe by that action, not that feeling, that you don't have what you're hoping for. You cannot fake this part because this is the search for the thing that you don't have. And this is what the universe hears in addition to your feelings when you're consuming the content. So I think some of you are taking the feelings as enough when really there's a multitude of ways that you're putting out energy. The universe doesn't hear your feelings during consuming the content alone. It hears your behavior in the meantime, which is scanning, searching, waiting, continuously watching over and over and over again. That is what the universe energetically receives, not the happiness of the feelings or how strong they are during the temporary consumption of the content. So it is feeling for true intention, and you cannot fake true intention. The universe is essentially feeling the true intention behind your words, actions, unconscious and conscious beliefs. And you really, really cannot fake this because unconsciously, by looking for this thing, by waiting for it, by hoping for it, and when it comes, by being happy that it's telling you that you have something, you are telling the universe, I do not already have this thing right now. So the emotion you're putting out, which is the core of manifestation, is I need hope. I am looking for hope because right now I have no hope. And that is what you cannot fake. So you may believe, in other words, in the readings or the feelings the messages are giving you. That is very true. That is a part of manifestation. You are not wrong. But where it distorts the law of attraction is you are focusing on the external to feed you. And by doing so, you are telling the universe, I do not have this thing. I am waiting for it to come. I don't already have hope, so keep feeding me hope. And this is how it may feel like it's manifestation, but it's feeding. And true manifestation feels into your future, and it feels that, and then it releases it. It doesn't need more noise to confirm that you will already receive it because you already know it's yours. And that's where the unconscious part comes into play, is you're not looking for messages, you're not scanning for them, you're not hyper vigilant about getting more and more content. In other words, you don't need a million messages about the same thing. You set it down and you move on, knowing there's no more work to be done. That's what real coherence feels like, and that's what true manifestation is, not partial manifestation. Okay, now here is where it gets tricky, and a lot of you, so smart, so aware, so intelligent, a lot of you picked up on the nuance of that message, and I'm here to explain it. I wasn't intending for you, as some of you did, to interpret it as be hopeless, nothing matters, live in sadness, never be entertained on YouTube again, never listen to any spiritual messages, never hope again, and live in despair and suffering. I wasn't being a pessimist, and I wasn't destroying all hope to exist. I think some of you perhaps took it that way to defend the behavior or continue by the habits, and that is perfectly fine. That's kind of why I took a long time to explain at the beginning, because some people won't be ready to hear this. And that reaction was the way that it showed. So by questioning so absolutist or extreme like that, the intention is to invalidate the claim, not to understand. That's why lawyers typically use extremes to break down defendants over time, is extremes are usually pretty successful at creating doubt in others. There's a lot of people that use it as a tactic when they don't like what they hear, or that what they're hearing challenges their beliefs in some way. And so that's like an automatic response. Unfortunately, as a disruptor, I know what that looks like because I get it a lot. Another way that this showed up was anger for me personally, and anger for how I'm spreading hopelessness. I just want to clarify that I was explaining a new way to view what you're doing in a way that you cannot see in the physical, and that no one ever talks about. And those not ready to hear it will stand by it as harmless and the only thing to live for in such a hopeless world. But I was not petitioning to be hopeless and to never find joy. I was asking you to look at your habits in a new way. Okay, now let's address specifically with what I meant by hope. We'll talk about the specifics of hope. What is good hope? What is okay hope? What can I watch? Now, Hope is great. Hope is important. Hopeful messages are okay. It is okay to watch things that tell you that good things are coming, that abundance is coming. It is okay to even tell you that sometimes someone is thinking about you or that you matter to them. It is okay to watch these things and to be on YouTube. It is okay to be entertained. It is okay that readers post about this occasionally, especially as love does come up in channeling. It's a part of the collective energy. And I certainly won't filter out those messages as they come moving forward. I don't manufacture them. I don't push them to get high views and high content, but I do take them as they come in a very natural way. And I protect your energy as well in the meantime. So that is what I do as a reader. It's probably important to find readers who do the same thing. But here's what is not okay. What is not okay is a regular pull on your end or a need for hope. This is where something is wrong. This is where something is imbalanced, where something is being fed spiritually that you cannot see in the physical. So if you are constantly looking in external places, it's not feeding the right and pure kind of hope. If you're constantly waiting around, monitoring, looking, and hoping that signs are going to come to you, it is not the right kind of hope. If this keeps screaming out to you to be fed, that's where there's a problem. That's where something is wrong. So when your response to my first video was, what kind of messages them am I allowed to watch, or what readers are good? What you're doing is you're taking the focus off yourself, and that's where it needs to be to answer this question. It is specific to the person who is watching and the person's awareness to that and how their reactions are. So your measurement for this is, how often do I feel I need to hear hope? How often am I drawn to search for it, to look for it unconsciously? How often and strongly are my emotions being pulled by this content? That is your clear internal guidance. It is not by any measurement or tool I can give you personally. Only you know how often you are searching and waiting for it or hoping that it pops up again. Only you know what you're feeding, not me. The message themselves are irrelevant. Truly. Some collectives are not being emotionally pulled by love content or messages about hope. So it's not about the reader. It's not about the content. It's about the awareness for yourself and how you're feeling and responding to what you're consuming. I think blaming or looking at readers in anger is another way to redirect where the focus needs to go. We're not looking at them. We're not looking at the content. We're looking at you. Sure, some readers might be exploiting you and might be aware of doing that. Some might be innocent in it and unknowing of what they're doing, and they're just purely doing something from an unconscious place. Some hope content is crafted in protection to you, but that shouldn't be the real focus. The real focus is you and paying attention to that, not the type of content, not the type of reader. The last thing I need to address is personal questioning of my intent as a reader for you. But I won't do it in a way that explains or defends myself, as I don't need to for the audience I'm truly meant to find, and that's really meant to stay with me. But I will explain some things. A lot of you tried to call me out, call me a hypocrite, or say I'm starting a cult, or to stay in my lane. I mean, it goes on and on and on. The comments were, in of itself, very reactive to what I was saying, which is good. That means that I did something important. I don't need to explain myself or my good intent, but I do need you to hear that that is projection by putting things back onto me as a stranger you don't even know as the problem for what you're feeling. The message was clearly about you, not about myself. By focusing on me, it's another way to distort the intent of my message. Focusing on me, absolutist claims about life being hard enough and it's okay sometimes to be hopeful. Those are the messages that I got for the collective that's not ready to hear. And that's how they protected their belief system. And they stood by that strongly. So calling me out doesn't fix the injustice that you feel. And getting answers from me, getting details, telling you exactly what to do will never settle you because it's found within you. I am the messenger and the reflector. I'm here to help you along the way, but I am not some savior or some perfect being that's claiming to be righteous and all-knowing. My mission here is to help everyone who will listen to a new perspective and a new way of looking at things, not to explain everything perfectly and defend my honor and my intentions. So Real consciousness will come when you can listen to me and look at yourself and not at me. And until then, you have the freedom to pick readers who will keep feeding you the painkillers if you wish. Awareness cannot be forced or explained. It just comes when you're ready and you've had enough. And I will still be here when you are. So there's no rush.